YouTube, what is up? It's your boy Duke, back here from sportsgamers.com. And in today's Madden 23 video, I'm going to break down the only defense you need to stop the run, stop the pass, and get great pressure at the same time. Now, this defense is very nice because it's really easy to use. It allows you to, while you get good pressure, also play lockdown coverage with one or two simple adjustments. So this is going to be a very user-friendly defense that anybody could use no matter what game mode. So if you play regs, play MUT, you play franchise, this is going to be the defense for you. So in this video, I'm going to break down a few different ways to run this defense, how to get pressure a few different ways, also some adjustments you guys can use to make your coverage a little bit better to stop some of the more popular types of offenses people will use. I will show this defense against a few different looks with blocked running backs, people sending everybody out. Then I'm also going to break down the different personnel packages you could use with this in the best way to set this defense up. So I'm going to be looking at the 4-6 even, 6-1. Excuse me, the 4-3 even, 4-3 even, 6-1. Now, this formation I like to run a lot out of the Chiefs playbook. This was a formation that was really good last year. At the beginning of the year, I liked it too. It kind of fell off a little bit, but as the year's gone on, this formation is back. You guys definitely want to look at this formation because right now, man coverage blitzes are super dominant, and this one is as good as it gets. So I'm going to just break down kind of how you want to set your personnel up. Now, the inside linebacker is always going to be your user. You can manipulate your depth chart to actually get a safety here, which is what I would recommend doing if you're going to run this defense all the time. There are some really good linebackers on this year's game, like Singletary. There's guys that are really fast, but they just don't get the same animations as safeties, so I definitely would try to set it up so you can get a safety there. But the most important thing is you want your two fastest and best edge rushers as these two outside linebackers because they're going to be blitzing pretty much every play. Your D-line is not super important. I mean, I do like to have some speed there just in case someone gets a random shed or a random, gap shoot. So that is kind of not the biggest deal, but still want to pay attention to it. Now, I would say, other than your edge rushers and your user, obviously your secondary, your two outside corners and your safety. Your safeties. These guys really need to be man-to-man based corners, honestly, for the scheme to work the best. Like, I like man corners, like fast, good height. But really, if you're going to maximize the abilities, you'd want to use deep route knockouts with like either one step aheads or inside shade. So let's just get into it right away. We're going to look at Sam Will Blitz. Now, as far as coaching adjustments go, you actually don't need to change anything. I just basically keep it on default. I don't change any zone drops. I don't put match on. For this defense, I leave it on default. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys is two different ways you can get pressure out of this blitz and show it how it works against, people send everybody out and the people who block the running back. Then I'm going to show you guys some different adjustments you can do to make your coverage a little bit better when running this defense. So what you're going to want to do with this defense is really simple. It's going to be a quick and easy setup. So if you want more tips like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel and comment on the video. If we get to 300 likes on this video, I'll actually post the full scheme from this formation. I actually have more plays I run with this specific play. So if you want the full scheme, 300 likes on this video and I'll post it on my YouTube channel very soon. So look, what you're going to do is super simple. The first way to run this blitz is super easy. You're going to slant your defensive line inside. To do that, you hit left on the D-pad and down on the right analog stick. Now, you've done it right when you guys see that all the 4 D-line angles, as you guys see here, they're slanted hard to the inside, right? Now, you might have to do it once or twice in a game. Sometimes they don't register, so oftentimes I'll just do it twice real fast just to make sure it registers. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm just literally going to blitz all my linebackers. To do that, I hit right on the D-pad, down on the right analog stick. Now, what's going to happen here is this is going to blitz all your linebackers, but most importantly, your user. And I like to stand directly over the center. And if you guys notice, above my user's head, I have some green horizontal lines. What that essentially means is that, this is very important, the offensive line is targeting me. They think that I'm rushing because of the position I'm lined up in. If I'm too far back, you see that those lines disappear. The line is not going to target me anymore if I'm too far back, and therefore this blitz will not work as good. So you want to stand basically to where they're targeting you. Now, if you guys want to know some more about abilities, I would probably have like the Bolden with a deep route KO, Pat Pete if you want another one step ahead. So you could have Bolden and Pat Pete for one step aheads. You could have like Chad Johnson, or you could have that new Joey Porter that get the universal coverage, which is all the knockouts. You could use Darrell Revis, who gets inside shade for 0 AP. But I would say the most important things to do in a man-to-man blitz game is deep route KOs if you don't have the universal coverage. and then a combination of cheap one-step aheads and inside shades. So when you're running this blitz, basically you're going to take your user at the snap, as you guys can see here, and you're going to just basically allow him to take a step forward. When you take that step forward, then you just drop back into coverage, and as you guys can see, all you have to do is take away the first read, and they are getting sacked instantly. Looking to become a better Madden player and win more games? Check out sportsgamers.com. I built sportsgamers.com from the ground up to give you the best Madden tips, best Madden ebooks, all at the best price, bar none. We have a VIP membership that gives you access to the entire site, every ebook and every tip we release all year long for only $24.99. Click the link in the description. I've also pinned it in the comments, and use coupon code DUKE for 10% off your order. You don't need any special abilities on your D linemen or your players for this to work. Just speed really as the edge rushers, because they're coming untouched. And as you guys can see here, again, like my user just distracts the center for a split second. I take a step forward, then I drop back. So when I drop back, I'm kind of looking for a quick slant or quick post over the middle. Most of the time, I feel like they're not going to have time for a corner route, but if I saw a really fast corner, I would jump that. Now, as you guys can see, with the running back blocked, he only picks up one of the edge rushers, and the other guy's able to sack me. You guys can even see, I mean, I didn't even drop back in the pocket. I stood strong, and, you know, it's a heavy six-man blitz. You cannot block this with just, you know, blocking a running back or, you know, just the things that normally block five-man blitzes. You're not going to block this blitz. As you guys can see here, nobody's even open. The corner route has not even yet to break, and we're sacked. Now, this is a great blitz to use with the tip I put up earlier this week as far as shading man coverage. The shading out of this will take it next level, which we'll show y'all in a second here. I do want to break down a few more ways to get pressure first. So the other thing you need to know is like what to do if they send the running back out. So like obviously the running back is not blocked. I'm sorry, he's not guarded here by default. So if I'm running this setup and the running back goes out on a route, we have a few different options. First of all, if we're running this, the first setup I showed you guys, which is Blitz 6, he's unguarded. So like if I see the running back go out, my step is immediately in the flat. Like I have to go jump the running back immediately. So if I see the running back go out, I basically abandon my thought process of taking a step forward to draw in the center, because if the running back goes out, like I already know they have no shot of stopping the pressure anyway, so I immediately sprint to take him away. Now, the other thing you could do against somebody who just constantly sends the running back out, just every single time, is just man him up. So like for instance here, if I knew the running back kept going out on the route, I could just man him up over here with even the D end on the right of the screen. Just somebody on the right of the screen, I can man him up. And if the running back goes on a route and they don't send anybody, you know, in protection, just a five-man rush is going to be enough to get the pressure, as you guys can see here. You know, I ended up actually getting an A gap there. Most of the time, you'll still get edge pressure, but regardless of the, you know, of it, you know, we still got that quick pressure. So you can feel free to man the running back up if they send him out, or you could just use that yourself. So that's kind of like the first way to set up this blitz. The second way is very similar, but there's a few small differences that make it unique. So again, I'm going to make sure that I crash my defensive line or slant them to the inside. Again, that's the left stick, and then down, left on the D-pad, then down on the right analog stick. Make sure they have these rush angles. Then I'm going to blitz on my linebackers. Really, so my user is going to be blitz, right? It's just the easiest way to do it. I think it's just right on the D-pad, down on the right stick. The last thing I'm going to do is QB contain. Now, you might wonder, okay, why do you QB contain? There's two reasons why you would want to QB contain in this defense. Number one, they have threat detector. Threat detector on third or fourth downs will tell them if you're blitzing or not if you use standard rush angles, right? However, if you use just, you know, contains from like edge rusher positions, which these two guys are edge rusher positions, they're not going to show it up on threat detector. So, them not knowing if you're blitzing or not, if they have threat detector on third or fourth down, is really big. The other thing is when they keep the running back in, contains run around blocked running backs this year. It's kind of similar to last year. Not as glitchy, but still, running backs don't block contain rushes very well at all. So if you guys see here, the contains, they will still get pressure. The contains might take a split second longer to get around because they kind of have a little weird pause to them and they kind of loop around. They're not as direct to the quarterback as a straight blitz angle, but they're still going to be very, very effective, as you guys can see here. You know, they're going to come in and get that pressure before, you know, anyone can, you know, really even get open. So they're still going to be effective. Now, anytime I show a blitz, I always have people asking me to show it against different formations, not just bunch or tight. So like, let's say someone's in spread. You guys can see what I'm talking about. Spread is going to, I mean, it's going to scream against spread too. So again, against a spread formation, basically anything that's not a compressed, and what compressed is like when everyone's, you know, compressed in the middle of the field, like a split close or like tight, split close, bunch, etc. Those types of formations, if they're spread out, first thing I do is I base a line. The base line, you hit coverage audible and then right on the D-pad. That just, you know, makes your defense stay in the same look regardless of offensive formation. Then everything else is the same. I'm going to go and slant my D-line inside, blitz on my linebackers, and, you know, at that point, that's it. I'm going to be set up. I'm going to be set up at that point. So, again, if the running back does go out on a route, that is my responsibility. But if he doesn't, you know, I can kind of just free roam and take away whatever I need to. Again, they're sacked. Now, the coverage adjustment I wanted to talk about is two things. It's individual backing up coverage with shading, which again is what I touched on earlier this week as far as making your man coverage better, is these shading rules. So, on this defense, the blitz setup is, again, you just basically slant your line inside, you blitz your linebackers, and then you can QB contain or not. That's up to you. But to make this coverage better, especially if you have the abilities I recommend, you can go ahead and individually back up both of your outside corners so they're at safety depth. So to do that, you hit coverage audible, then you hit the individual button. You guys can see here, once you bring up the coverage audible, individuals in the bottom left corner, you hit the individual button, then you hit the icon of the outside receivers. The outside receivers here are square and circle. So I'd have to do this one at a time, right? So first I'll do square, and then I flick up on the right analog stick. So basically, you know, if you guys want the exact buttons, it's triangle on PlayStation, X, the receiver's icon. So here, the right receiver we need to do now, that's circle, and then flick up on the right analog stick. Now, past this is when you can do shading. To shade your coverage, what I normally like to do is, because a lot of people will attack man coverage with corners and outs and, you know, routes to the sideline, I shade my coverage outside. So again, that's just coverage audible, triangle, you know, Y, whatever. Coverage audible. The shade outside is right on the right analog stick. Now, what I talked about earlier this week that makes this even better is using global shading, which I just did with, you know, individual backing up coverage or not, but plus individual shading. So after you global shade, let's say I global shaded outside. Now there could be a route that's attacking over the middle. Drag, slant, post, whatever. You identify that receiver and then you individually shade them inside. So like here, let's say that CeeDee Lamb kept going on a drag, or, you know, Keyshawn kept going on a post, whatever, right? I could shade those guys inside, one, both, whoever. To individual shade, you hit coverage audible. Again, individual button. Again, the icon of the receiver. So let's say I wanted to individually shade Keyshawn Johnson to the inside. I hit Keyshawn Johnson's icon. And now you guys see back off was flicking up on the right analog stick, but you can shade it left or right. Obviously, in this situation, I want to shade inside, that shade left, so I flick left on the right analog stick. You know, now the coverage is going to be much better to the inside, but still I get that outside shade, and once again, everybody is bagged. And I just want to point out that in this video, I do not have man-to-man abilities. Obviously, this would be better if I had one step ahead and deep route knockouts, but this is actually just my regular ability setup for zone hybrid. So all I have is universal coverage, you know, on Chad Johnson free safety, but like Fuller and Deion Sanders, those are my zone corners. So like I don't have one step aheads and inside shades and like all that stuff. So just imagine if you set up the abilities for this defense, it's going to be crazy. But just I wanted to show y'all can run this at a high level without having man-to-man abilities. You can, but obviously if you play MUT, you want to, right? Of course. Anyways, just take a look at how everybody's bagged up. Like, this is crazy. Like, first of all, we're getting sacked before the corner and the out even break. But like you guys can see, like both of those corners have outside leverage, and then like the CeeDee Lamb route and the Keyshawn Johnson route, they're both covered really well here. I guarded CeeDee Lamb because he was wide open. And then because I shaded Keyshawn Johnson, look, Deion is guarding him to the inside. Keyshawn Johnson is not open at all. No one's open. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash the like button. Like I said, 300 likes, and I will post for you guys the full scheme from the 4-6 even 6-1. Excuse me, I said it again. The 4-3 even 6-1. 4-3 even 6-1. That'll be multiple plays, multiple blitz setups, and coverage options as well. Way more in depth than just this one video, but this one video is fire. Check y'all later.